Hello, YouTubers out there. This is Jerry Saravia at the movies. So, um, I just finished watching Halloween Ends, which I was almost reluctant to see today, but judging by some of the thoughts that I've heard from other people and a couple of friends of mine, I thought, well, I better check this out. And I haven't written a review for it. Usually I like to write a review. Sometimes I like to do spontaneous reviews like this one, but not very often. So, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty confident in saying this is the best of the trilogy. And the original Halloween from 2018 wasn't bad. It was fine. It was, I would recommend that, but with strong reservations. But I thought they didn't make enough use of Laurie Strode's character in that picture. In Halloween Kills, she basically has an extended cameo. And it's more about the townspeople and how they are affected by Michael Myers. There's a survivors group and all that stuff. Anthony Michael Hall was in it. And that one I actually kind of liked. I mean, it wasn't bad. I think it was a minor improvement on the original, but it needed more Laurie Strode. To me, the secret to the Halloween movies really has been Laurie Strode. Um, as all of you know, when she did the original Halloween, 1978, and then the sequel, Halloween 2, which she did not like, uh, I think even 40 plus years later, she still doesn't like that movie. And, I just talked about that yesterday, which is, a movie I reviewed a long time ago. But I figured I would talk about it in more depth now, 41 years later. And then she didn't appear in any sequels until H20, which was in 1998. Then she appeared in Resurrection, which is a terrible film, where she's killed off at the end. So now, since 2002, she didn't return until 2018, and in that role. And in the other sequels, up until Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, it's really been about Dr. Loomis, but no depth to the character whatsoever. He shows up in Haddonfield and he wants to kill Michael Myers and is warning everybody. I mean, it was the same old story. It was a real disservice to Donald Pleasance to do that, considering his last film was The Curse of Michael Myers, and they didn't do anything to give that character any depth whatsoever. This trilogy has given a little bit more depth to Laurie Strode overall in terms of her post-traumatic stress disorder and her sort of macabre fascination and yet dread about Michael Myers, which was very different from how she portrayed it in Age 20, where she was in fear still of this thing, this monster. Now, the interesting thing about Halloween Ends is that Michael Myers is barely in it. He appears, to be sure, but he is not the antagonist, not at first. So, I don't want to give away too much, but I will say this. Rowan Campbell, who plays Corey Cunningham, is this young man who had it showed in the opening sequence he was babysitting this kid, and the kid was watching the remake of The Thing by John Carpenter. How interesting! Whereas in the original Halloween from 1978, they're watching the original 1951 The Thing. So that was kind of a fun little tribute there. And he's babysitting, and he gets stuck in, I think it's in the attic, and the kid basically locks the door on him. He gets stuck in there. Finally, he's pushing and pushing the door open, and the parents arrive, and that door flings open, it hits the kid, and knocks him out, and he falls to his death from the top third floor staircase. And so, of course, now he's seen as, in a sense, the new boogeyman for people to be in fear of in this town. Or at least, not in fear, I shouldn't say that. They just don't like this kid. They see him as a murderer, even though he didn't murder the kid at all. And so Michael Myers does come back, but I guess I can't give too much away right now. I don't know if I will explore this further, but I probably will. But my point is that what I really liked about the film was the different track that they followed, the different type of narrative. And they explore a little bit more about Laurie Strode. And she's writing a book about her experiences, some of the people in town, a couple of them in particular. One who I thought was a victim from, I guess, Halloween Kills, but I'm not sure, who I thought was dead. Somehow she still survived. That was kind of interesting. So her and then her granddaughter, Andy Matichak, who plays Allison. She's very good, and she has quite a few good scenes. I thought it was well acted. She has an interest in this kid, Corey, and now my disappointment was Will Patton, who has too short a role, and he is the deputy, sheriff's deputy, who in Halloween Kills we recognize that he arrested Michael Myers after the events of the original 1978 film. So I can't say much more than that because I'm sure everybody's going to be watching this movie, and I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it's not your typical Halloween film. In many ways, I thought it reminded me a little bit of like if it was an episode out of, but a pretty damn good episode, I thought, out of Creepshow or any one of those horror anthologies. I appreciate what they did here, and I think it made sense. I liked what they did. I have no real complaints. This was the best sequel of the trilogy. I don't call it a great movie, but it's a pretty good movie. And it's one that actually, this one, I wouldn't mind seeing again. So take that any way, which way you want. I'm sure the gore hounds out there are going to be disappointed that the gore is minimal. In fact, there's hardly any. And I will say the ending was pretty perfect. It was the ideal conclusion to this Laurie Strode saga. um, I liked it. Some of some of the characters were a bit off-putting, but overall, I like what they did with this film. I think they tried to deal with specifics. In particular, this Corey character. Really, he is the lead of this movie. Technically, Laurie Strode is as well. But how they decide to subvert expectations, I liked what they did. It kept me interested. I was wondering where this was going to be going, and it was a total surprise to me. Just overall, I thought this was a pretty damn good movie. But if you listen to other people out there who liked the first two, or liked one of them, or neither one of them, they may not like this one. And many of them don't seem to really appreciate, I think, what this film did, which was to build a couple of twists and some surprises. I liked the story they told. It just seemed like it was trying to be almost like a spin-off, and yet still somehow incorporate Michael Myers in an interesting way. And that somehow his evil, even though he hasn't been around for almost 4 years in the context of this picture, his evil still seems to be submerged in the town of Haddonfield. And I like that a lot. So that's all I got to say about this. It was nice to see Kyle Richards as Lindsay Wallace. Once again, I wish it was a little bit more scenes. But there isn't quite a dynamic between Laurie Strode and her granddaughter. Thought they handled that very well. And I loved how it ended. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty good movie. If I were to rate this, which I normally don't do, I will say this much. I will say the first Halloween 2018 would get 2.5 stars. The second one, maybe about 3 stars. This one, I would say 3.5 stars. So, out of 5. But I don't typically rate things. I never do that in this channel. But if that helps anyone out there. So, let me your thoughts. Tell me what you think. I think I will discuss this more in depth once I write a review. So that will include spoilers. I don't want to give anything away. I liked what they did with this movie. They built up the suspense. I mean, it was more than I expected. So, My expectations were lowered, but then they were lowered for Halloween Kills as well, and maybe that helps. I don't know, but you will be surprised by this movie. So David Gordon Green, I thought did a good job, and as a director, and yeah, there is one real gory moment involving the severing of a tongue, and I'll leave it at that. But I think in another week or so, maybe sooner, I will discuss the spoilers and how I think this all fits in with the Laurie Strode saga. That's really what this is, ultimately. So let me your thoughts. Tell me what you think. Try not to show any or give any spoilers if you do comment. And please subscribe to my channel. And that's it. That's all I got to say. So, what a surprise for me. That's all I can say. This is Jerry Saravia at the Movies, signing off.